Warning, the following podcast contains mature subject matter. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Coming up on the Greg and Tim Show podcast.
I'll handle everything. You guys are not ready for this.
Oh, yeah.
When you ask, like, how was it? It was one of the most inspiring moments of my life. So in a long-winded way of answering your question, it was fucking awesome. And there was a bag of goldfish and I was like, oh my God, these are the best goldfish I've ever had in my life. For me, I've never felt more like a child than when I'm in my Nintendo games room. No, and you guys, like, honestly, what you're doing here is awesome. Like, it truly is. And I know you can make money doing anything. Yeah, literally anything.
That's true. You can make money.
People like
except this podcast.
Except the podcast.
See, that's funny. That's funny. That was good. The guy's going like, stop this.
No, he was like,
yeah.
Get your earballs ready. Welcome to the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Take time to sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Here are your hosts, Greg and Tim.
Yeah.
To the Greg and Tim Show, as always. Greg, my fantastic co-host, and I'm Tim. And with us
Tim.
to my immediate left is Tyler Carr.
Woo! Tyler Carr.
Radio personality 106. And I don't know if you knew this, but the reincarnation of the guy from Bill and Ted's Adventure from the 1980s.
Oh, what is that?
You don't know what Bill and Ted's Adventure is?
No, what is that? Tell me, please.
Oh my
So
goodness.
It sounds like a very Dave Wheeler moment where he says something that I'm supposed to know and then I don't know and then
You don't know the Bill and Ted's
No,
Adventure
I
at all?
don't. What is
Keanu
it?
Reeves?
Ugh.
So back
I know Keanu Reeves because Dave is obsessed.
Matthew,
but
before we go any further, can you just swipe up on there?
yeah,
And then go to
please.
YouTube.
Yeah, show me the.
No, swipe up from the very bottom.
So there's a movie
And go
Okay.
to
in the
YouTube.
late 1980s.
Oh no,
swipe
see,
down
that's why I
and-
It was
haven't
a
seen
cult
it.
YouTube.
classic.
Okay.
And it was called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It starred
Swipe down.
Keanu Reeves
Yeah.
and a
And type
guy
YouTube.
by the lesser known guy who didn't have as much of a career afterwards. And
Got it.
I don't remember
And
his
then
name,
click the
but
search.
you are literally the living reincarnation.
What I
of
love
him.
about both this right now is this is a very David Tyler moment. This is a very my mom and me moment. Trying to
I'm
show
trying to
how to
show him
work
how
the
to
tablet. Dave's telling me something.
I have to fill the blank space here.
Oh, is that me?
Yes.
correct.
Okay, well, I can already get it from just the blonde, white, blue-eyed twink. So,
And we're gonna play all 2 hour and
We don't
45
have
minutes
to
of it,
show
right?
no, just play it all. Actually, the whole
we're-
podcast is just us commenting on the
Watching.
episode.
So it wasn't a small movie; it was a pretty big movie, and they even had a
two
sequel.
movies.
They had a sequel too.
Oh, when was the sequel out? Later
a
than the
couple years before you were
1980s?
born.
Oh, see, there's the issue. Was it in color?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That was a
How
good.
old do you think we are?
No, that was a good 1988. That was a good jab at us,
So
by the
just
way.
swipe
It's gonna
up
happen a
here
lot.
Slightly,
Yes.
like you did earlier.
Yeah.
To switch between menus.
Yeah.
No, up from the bottom slightly.
So
and then move back over to the
So
questions.
you're editing a lot more this episode.
Oh, yeah. You're
I'm
screwed.
going to be adding a lot more. Just click on the Gmail button there, Tim, or Matthew. Gmail, right? No, you're swiping everywhere.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm living for this.
There you
Honestly,
go.
I think he's doing it on purpose at
I
this
think
point.
so too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can even
He
hear
got
us.
it. He got it.
Yeah, we got
Do you
there.
have the headphones on?
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, it was great to be here.
And we'd like to thank our guest, Tyler Carr, who stopped by this evening.
Okay, I get
Tyler
the
Carr.
reference. I get the reference.
Morning show host on Energy 106
Nailed
with the
it.
Wheeler in the Morning. Big proponent for Manitoba, Winnipeg, shows off everything. He has an ice cream that he created.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into all that kind of stuff because we thought the ice cream was really cool, the Pop Rocks. We talked about it with Avery Martin
I
a few episodes back.
love
So-
her. That was really
Yeah.
cool. That actually made my day when that clip went up on social media.
Oh, yeah?
No, like you guys, it actually made my day. It was really cool. And I mean, we can talk about it more later, but that ice cream had such a special place in my heart this summer. And, we just got the total and, some new exciting things in the works with that. But it was really awesome to see
Yeah.
that. So thank you guys for that.
Well, Tim has a question right off the bat about the ice cream.
Oh, let's just do it.
Let's
Talk
just
about
get-
the
you
ice
might as well
cream.
Get into it, Tim. Your ice cream question.
What was your experience with the? Were you happy with it?
Yeah, it was cool because I had two versions of the sundae, Tyler's Sassy Summer Sundae, before this Galactica one, and it was at Scoops, and then obviously Scoops shut down, transformed into something new, and I was looking for a new home for the ice cream, and it was my program director Adam West who was like, why don't you look for a place that's super iconic and just ask them? And I was like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go knock on the door and be like, you want my sassy summer sundae? And like that, I'm like, that's just weird. But then he's like, give it a shot. Think about it for a little bit. So I was like, oh, the only, Half Moon. Half Moon is so iconic. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask them. So drove all the way out there, met with Wayne. I'm like, so I have this idea. You have my ice cream at your place. We'll sell it for charity. And he's like, hell yeah. And I was like, wait, what? What do you mean? You're down? He's like, yeah. I'm like, so you want to have little old me, Tyler Carr, my ice cream at your iconic shop here in Lockport? And he's like, absolutely. We got Dreams Take Flight involved with it. And what I loved about it the most was Half Moon was so involved. Like, I showed up for the day of like creating the ice cream where we had every flavor on in front with spoons, and I'm trying it all. I was so much fun. But I had, Kendra was there, and Kendra is one of their workers, and she was coming up with ideas saying we should do this, mix this, but don't do that. And I'm like, this is crazy. It felt like an actual collaboration where there was somebody there that actually wanted to help me make something special.
Yeah.
So when you ask like, how was it? It was one of the most inspiring moments of my life, because we actually started this way back at the beginning of the year and started talking about it and trying it. Like, this wasn't something that we just woke up in June and we're like, yeah, we're throwing this together. We put candies in, this candy in, didn't work, tasted weird. Like, we truly wanted to make something that was like yummy and also that stood out. And it was so fun when we threw the Pop Rocks in there, because at first I wasn't sold, but it was when you drizzled them on top and then held it up to your ear where you actually could hear the Pop Rocks before you ate it. I'm like, that's cool.
It's what you imagine space tasting like.
Yeah, and that was the thing, is Wayne said, we like to keep things kind of around space themed. They got the Lunar Burger, it's Lockport Half Moon, it all makes sense. But it was Galactica that was kind of a play on Chromatica from Lady Gaga, which I obviously love. And then, the space themed of all that. But they let me do anything I wanted to do, and all they did was heighten it. And so that's what made it really special. And, this year, we sold over 600. And, for the first year of it being out in Half Moon is so awesome. We raised over $3,000 for Dreams Take Flight.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And Dreams Take Flight, I've said it time and time again, is fully volunteer-run organization. They send kids on a deserving trip. This year I'm going on the flight. We're going to LA this year. We're going to Disney. These are all kids that have never even been in an airport.
Yeah.
And, we're raising money for those kids, and that's what it was all about. So whether it was $100 or $3,000 like we did, I was just super stoked. So in a long-winded way of answering your question, it was fucking awesome. Clip that
it
for
was
Instagram.
we might just do that word for word.
Not sponsored by Bubbly.
Beep.
Could
Another
be Michael.
or Michael Bubbly.
Yeah, we're looking at you, Michael.
So a question for you, and I always say that because we ask questions to our guests.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Without saying you're a morning show DJ, without saying anything you do for a living, who is Tyler Carr?
Oh, who is Tyler Carr? He's kind of, I would say a bit of a, I was going to say mess, but I'm going to put another word before it. Tyler Carr is a sassy, crazy, adventurous mess of life. That's what I would say. I think Tyler Carr is someone that used to be very boxed up and shy and wanted to be louder and excited and didn't, but I'm now fully that exact person that I want to be. So I would say a beautiful mess. How about that?
That's good.
A beautiful mess.
A beautiful mess.
You said how
Strictly Lady Gaga music.
Yeah. Rah, rah.
rah, 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 rah. Anyway, she's in a new movie with the Joker, right?
Bitch, I know.
You just
Yeah.
Joker to
Yeah.
October 4th, Landmark Cinema.
It's coming up.
If you want to go to the opening.
Yeah.
Tyler will probably be there.
100%. 100%.
And then go to the next one because he'll probably be at that one too.
I'm going 3 times. I've already got my tickets, actually.
For all 3 shows?
Yeah.
There you go.
I know I'm going to want to see it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So get your
Different
tickets.
people though, every time?
Well, yeah, my squad kind of diminishes. It's like the first showing, I've got everybody. And then the second showing, I've got my core, like my best friends.
Yeah.
And then the third showing, it's me and my partner.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have to come.
And the fourth time, it's just you.
Yeah. And then right before going in, I'm like, if you hate it, shut up.
Yeah, I don't want to hear
Don't tell
it.
me. Don't tell me.
Well, it'll be a good movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Todd
Phillips.
Yeah.
From The Hangover to The Joker.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Icon.
He's changed so much in his directing. So
Yeah, for sure.
anyway,
You said
Tim's got another question.
You said it. Well, it's kind of a follow up to what you just said. You said a beautiful mess, but you didn't explain what you meant by mess.
Yeah, I think beautiful meaning I'm super proud of where I am right now. I'm super content. I'm happy. I'm loving life. I'm in this new stage. I'm 30 now. You know, I've accepted that, and I'm ready to kind of rally my life and just continue doing what I'm doing. But mess meaning I'm doing it all, right? Like and mess not meaning it in like a negative way, meaning in like a super cool way. Like I'm here, I'm there, I'm doing this, but I don't want to stop. And you know, mess also meaning I'm finally starting to realize the parts that I want to slow down. You know, that at home point with my partner Mitch, and you know, my cat, and now my dog because of Mitch, and you know, all those things. It's a mess of still finding out who I am, but totally knowing who I am. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the coolest point of my life right now.
So tell us something that we wouldn't know about the beautiful mess that is Tyler Carr.
There's so many to pick from. Something that you
the most out there one.
Something that you think the vast majority of people
Wouldn't know about you.
wouldn't know.
I'm a stoner. How about that? That's one that maybe most people don't know. I
Probably wouldn't.
I honestly, you guys, being super real, I found a lot of help with weed over the pandemic and into my 30s now.
Now that it's legal.
Yeah, and you know, I tend to kind of stay away from talking about it, and I don't know if that's maybe still the stigma around it, but you know, I'm not sitting at home, you know, smoking a bowl as soon as I get home. It's more of when I'm relaxing and we're, you know, building Lego with my partner or watching a show or something. I found a lot of help in weed, especially when, you know, I'm booking this event or coming on a podcast, and sometimes life gets a little overwhelming. It just allows me to take a deep breath and be a little more present.
Yeah. So how many gummies before you walked in the door? Like 8? Because you knew Tim was going to be.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Did you? and you have a couple for Greg, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any?
Yeah.
Greg was like,
Just a couple.
I don't know what would happen to me.
I
honestly don't.
None for him.
Why? You know, you don't take? That's not
I've
your
never.
vibe? You know,
No.
for me, I didn't consume anything until the day it was legal.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it was my friends that were like, you should try it. And then it was funny because I did. And then I went upstairs and there was a bag of goldfish. And I was like, oh my God, these are the best goldfish I've ever had in my life. But like truly, when it came to mental health, it was something that, you know, I was doing it recreationally for fun at the time. But now it's actually part of my life. And I say stoner, meaning like, you know, I'm pretty much a daily user. But it's something where I found a lot of peace with it. And it's actually helped me be more present with people and let me just kind of shut off the world for a little bit. You know, when you guys know when you're on social media, it's that endless scroll of, oh, we could do this, we could do that, we could create this, we could do that. How do you know when to turn it off? And cannabis has kind of been like that. You can stop.
Yeah.
You can be present with your boyfriend now. And it's been kind of cool.
And play Legos.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Or
dude,
Mario Brothers.
I have been building so much Lego. It is crazy. Like
Where do you put it all?
I have a games room.
Okay.
It's upstairs, and it was supposed to. Well,
You want to share a photo of that?
I mean, actually, yeah. Okay.
If you,
So, I have a games room upstairs, and I'm building a lot of Lego. My current plan is to collect all the Mario Lego and make a sweet Mario world.
So no cool Star Wars Lego yet?
No, but these are. I'm just gonna show you my Lego shelves.
Oh wow, that's a lot of Lego.
And it's dense. Like it's,
so once you build it, what do you do with it?
So once I build it, we build it downstairs and then we take it upstairs, and we actually usually have on the floor, we'll have like 6 or 7 sets at one time on the floor. We don't put them all away at once. And then we go upstairs and we'll have a night, Mitch and I, and we'll literally build the Lego world. Like I want everything to connect as if it's a Mario Lego going from one world to another. Everything has to make sense. The pipe's got to be here. The mushroom's got to be there. Mario's got to go from here to here, but it doesn't make sense if his pipe goes from there to there. Like everything has got to work. Okay. So we'll have all these sets on the ground and we'll just plan where they go and where it makes the most sense. And we'll just kind of lay out our plan, and it's super fun and awesome.
So it's like more of like that creative, like building.
It's bringing out what I had as a child. You know, for me, I've never felt more like a child than when I'm in my Nintendo games room. And that's the reason why I've always dreamt of having it since I was 2 years old. It was, you're going to have a games room one day. And now I'm in the stages of kind of like, it's there now, just creating this really cool space with my, boyfriend where we can hang out and play old school games together and relive that. I can't really think of anything better than that.
Is it just Nintendo?
Yeah.
No Xbox, no PlayStation.
Well, I have an Xbox in there, but I've covered the logo with tape.
Why?
Because it's a Nintendo room. I just am like hiding it. And my PS4 and PS3 are like under.
Do you
I
have
still
all
love
the
them.
Nintendos?
What's that?
Do you have all the Nintendos?
Everything. I have every system.
Like all
Yeah.
the way, and they all work,
Oh,
or
yeah.
do you just have the mini ones of the
No,
old
I
ones?
have everything, and I have the minis.
and they all work.
Mhm.
Very cool.
I'm a very proud collector. I do it on a budget too. I buy
So-
everything from
So
Marketplace.
No, before you go, because I know you're going to go on to something else.
No, I was going to continue on the same thing. But okay, sure.
No, what is it? Go.
Go
No,
ahead,
he,
Tim.
he's
you
interrupted
go ahead.
me, and I've
No,
already forgotten
Tim,
about.
you forgot your question
No,
already?
I wasn't really a question. Excuse me if, like, when you talk about gaming,
Yeah.
because we'll have gamers here periodically, and you're just one of a bunch of people who love to game and great games, and I don't game. I never have gamed.
That's
so my eyes just started to wander.
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit. I started to think about my football fantasy
Oh,
league.
yeah, I got
and I
you.
just got
We'll
got
talk
to
about
catch
Tyler's football
myself.
fantasy now.
I was gonna say mine is easy. My football fantasy is Nick Bosa. So just
Just
him
him.
alone.
Yeah, he didn't do very well last weekend, but
I honestly don't care about his stats. I just care about his abs.
So, I got a story.
Hey, did
I got a...
I'll give you
Eventually I'll get to
I'll give
talk.
you a second.
This is how I feel with Dave. So it's fine.
Did you know that the Bosa brothers
Yeah.
are great grandchildren of the mafia leader in all of Chicago?
I can't tell if you're being honest.
No,
right
it's
now.
serious.
He's a big mafia buff.
You can look. I'm a big mafia history guy.
Okay.
And in the 1970s, the guy who
Yeah.
took over for Al Capone, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was the great grandfather of the Bosa brothers.
Damn.
Yeah, like literally, it's
Like
crazy.
Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa and his brother. I can't remember what his brother's name is, but yeah, they're
Probably
great.
Joe.
Joey Bosa.
If it ain't
Oh, I
Travis,
was
it's
right.
like,
No,
there it is.
His name was Joe Accardo.
Okay.
That was the great. So Joe Accardo is the great grandfather of Nick and Joey Bosa.
Meanwhile, I just know Nick Bosa
He
because
took
he's
over-
hot. That's literally all I
He took
knew.
over for Al freaking Capone.
Jeez.
Yes, true story.
Okay, so we've
Now you
learned
know.
something today.
Yeah.
You may
my God.
continue.
We've learned multiple things.
No, I love that. It's
Yeah.
Dave and I on our show, we always say at the end of the show at 9:00 at the last break, we always do things that you've learned. You say
Yeah.
one thing that you've learned from the day because that's so important. If you're not going through life every day learning something, then what are you doing? And I
Yeah.
learned something. Nick Bosa has a tie to the Mafia.
A huge tie.
Yeah, that's
A
wild.
huge tie.
I love that.
I want to tell a story
Yeah.
about when I wanted a Nintendo growing up.
Okay,
because
please.
You had all of them.
Yeah.
So this was 19.
And by the way, I like to say, as much as just put a pin in that for
Yeah.
a sec. As much as I love to say that I own all these systems and I do all this, I've been collecting since I was 2 years old.
Yeah.
In a time where everybody's hurting right now financially and everybody's kind of doing that, it is something that I started when I was 2 years old, and I've kept every single thing, every box, every wrapper, everything Nintendo that I've had. So it is truly a labor of love for me.
Yeah.
And then I buy everything on Facebook Marketplace for a cheap price from your grandma that doesn't know what it's worth. Anyway,
It's a skill too.
continue. It is absolutely.
So picture this, 1990, me, I'm a little bit older than you. I was 10 years old at this time.
Okay.
I wanted a video game system, and I asked for Nintendo. All my friends had a Nintendo. Mario Brothers was just out. 1990 was a big year for video games. So I asked for it for Christmas. I get downstairs on Christmas Day, look under the tree. There's a big box under the tree. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah. I am so
You
pumped
know.
right now, right?
I'm getting that. I'm about to cry for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, open it up.
Well, hold those tears, because I opened up the box, and it was an Atari 7800.
Oh.
And I still have it.
I mean,
I
honestly,
still have
It
it.
was
So
there-
this was going to be an Atari room, but we decided to put it as a podcast.
honestly, there was a special place for an Atari. It kind of actually reminds me. So I really wanted a cell phone when I was like, I don't know, 4 years old, basically. Not actually, but I was asking for it for Christmas. And I'm like, oh my God, Mom, I want a cell phone. Actually, what year would it have been? 2007, maybe? I would have been in grade 7.
Okay.
And my mom's like, yeah, maybe a cell phone for Christmas, maybe. I wake up on Christmas, I go downstairs, I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting a cell phone. And I open it up, and it was an ornament of a cell phone. And my parents, I did not actually not get a cell phone. And by the way, the cell phone, when you pressed it, was Santa Claus being like, ho, 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 this is your Santa Claus cell phone. I was mortified.
They're like,
yeah, my dad thought it was so sweet. He's like, he thought he was getting a cell phone. I'm like, where's my Motorola Razr? Like, what is this? I got a cell phone the next year, but it taught me a valuable lesson. Don't trust what's under the tree from
Don't
your
trust your
parents.
parents.
Don't trust your parents. Don't do it.
Or
Devin
what's under the
Lloyd.
tree. Oh my goodness. Speaking of parents,
Mm-hmm.
your dad is a huge Maple Leafs fan.
Oh, yeah.
Which we've heard over and over
Yeah,
throughout the
he's
playoffs.
super
just last
annoying
year.
about it.
And he's super annoying about it.
Yeah.
How did that not transfer to you?
It did. I was fully gaslit. Like, I have pictures.
No, what he's saying is, why didn't you become a Maple Leaf?
I was until I saw the clear path of life. So when I left the hospital, when I was born, it was in a Toronto Maple Leaf onesie.
Nice.
That's where my dad started.
Do we
his
have a
love.
picture of that?
Oh, so yeah.
We have it.
If we have it, we're
we
putting
do
it up
now.
right now.
Thanks, Dad. No, we for sure do. And my parents, they left me in that, and then my dad put me in all these sports, which I love basketball, and he put me in hockey, which was not the vibe, but he would put me in a Maple Leafs jersey. And at the time, I think when you're that age, and especially growing up, you're gonna love whatever your parents are loving, right? I loved that my dad was a collector, which is why I collected Nintendo things. He was collecting hockey cards and all this. So parts of that are within me.
Yeah.
I think for me, the Maple Leaf bandwagon is fun now, and now I'm older to the point where I can handle just kind of spiting my dad. There's still some love for the Maple Leafs in my heart, and there always will be. But now I'm just a bandwagon jumper. So if the Jets are in, I'm all Jets.
Yeah.
But then if the Maple Leafs are also in, I'm like, go Maple Leafs. I just love to have fun
So
with whoever's
secretly,
vibing.
you're a Maple Leafs fan,
Like low-key.
even though you make fun of your
I
dad.
just like to get people triggered. So if that means my dad's going to be triggered by me kind of
I
roasting
think
him
you're
about the
triggering
Leafs.
Dave more than you're triggering your dad.
Yeah, that's fine.
when you pick the Leaf.
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter who's triggered. It's fun. So deep down, there's some rooted love for the Maple Leafs.
Okay.
Deep down.
I assume if the Leafs come to town, are you taking him to the game?
I have. Yeah, you know what? His health isn't so great. He's been waiting for a couple surgeries and whatnot. Manitoba healthcare.
Yes.
But we did. There was one January. I think it was just kind of in the pandemic when things were opening up again, and I ended up getting him the box seats, like the ones in the suite, and
Okay.
we had the best time.
Nice.
He's part of a group called Leafs Nation, and he was like streaming it to them, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm in the box seat with my son." I'm like, "Okay, turn it off, stop."
Did you have a Jets jersey
And
on?
it was weird because he was like, yeah, I did, which was amazing, by the way. The weirdest part is he was streaming and he was holding the phone like this. I'm like, nobody watches live streams like
You
this,
gotta
Dad.
have it
You
up
gotta
and
go.
down.
You gotta do the TikTok way. Sorry. He just
He's
doesn't
like,
get
tick
it.
what?
Yeah, he doesn't get it.
Tim would stream that way though.
Yeah,
so.
that's fine.
I don't think I could get that far.
Yeah.
You used to do lives on Facebook all the time.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
If you look back at your Facebook, there's a
That
lot
was
of
very
Facebook lives.
2017.
They're
Yeah, very much.
very
2020.
2017. That was in my BlackBerry.
Ooh, a BBM. What's
Yes.
up?
I do send. I have one person. I have one person I contact with BBM now.
Oh,
Just still one.
you still have
I still have BBM. Just.
You-
Honestly,
BBM.
I'm not mad about
I have
that.
one person. I have one person. We can easily contact each other through WhatsApp, through text, but
But
we want.
why?
We want to
Right.
just because
Honestly, I have people like that too. I've got apps for just one or two people. Stick with it. If you're vibing with it, vibe with it. It's like Snapchat. I'll always have Snapchat.
Snapchat's still a thing, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is.
Okay.
I think
kids
it's.
use Snapchat all the time.
Yeah, I love Snapchat.
So there's multiple types of users on Snapchat.
Yeah.
Like Snapchat. Are you the forehead sender?
What do you mean?
The people that just send a picture
No.
of their foreheads?
Oh
and
no,
up?
I video. I send like actual videos. I actually will I like create content just for my friends on Snapchat where like
Okay.
I'll set up and I'll have like my boyfriend and I will like set up scenes and we'll do funny things. Like I love it. I just love performing. So I literally
You
will
should just set up a live and just build Lego for live.
Oh my god, that'd be so fun. That would be so fun.
You can make money on it now.
I know.
They could
You
send
make
you
money
gifts.
doing anything.
Yeah, I
Literally
guess.
anything.
That's true. You can make money,
People like
except this podcast.
Except the
Yeah.
podcast.
See, that's funny. That's funny. That was good. Bubbly, sponsor them. Please.
So talk about your morning show.
money.
Yeah, you can. Yes.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just we'll have a big
Yeah.
number screening up.
Yeah, yeah.
As you say it, that's true.
Like a telethon.
Yeah, we can do it streaming now.
Yeah.
Give it to us.
Everyone's standing by to take your call.
One person standing by.
Matthew, have we got a call yet?
Nope, don't have a
He's
call.
asleep. I don't know what you guys are doing.
He still has a lighter. Talk about
That joint is big.
talk about your life on the morning show.
Yeah.
Talk about getting up early in the morning. Pros, cons. What is it like to work now for 4 years on
No,
early
more than 4 years. 4
morning
years
radio
with
show.
Dave.
Okay, so technically, I've been on doing morning radio now for 10 years.
Okay.
I know. 8 with coming up to 8 on Energy 106. Multiple variations of the show, but I've stayed.
Yeah.
It's been a wild ride, and I don't actually wake up that early. I get to work at 5:58.
And the show
2 minutes
starts at-
before it's 6. Yeah, the show starts at 6. People think I'm there early. I'm not. Why would you? I just, there's radio announcers that will post their 3 a.m. alarms. I'm like, no. I do my stuff before bed and I sleep as much as I can. And, Dave and I have a great vibe now where, he does come in very early and he has to, though.
Yeah.
He's bringing in, he's got to make sure some of this show prep is a little more relevant. Whereas for me, I make sure everything is done the night before. And a lot of my stuff is during the show. I'm running the board, I'm doing the calls and stuff. So as long as I get there for 6 a.m. and I'm awake and ready to go, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Right. And so I think that that's a common little thing that, everybody working in morning radio is so tired. And it's like, well, it depends. Everybody's not in that same, and I'm not knocking anybody that wakes up at 3 a.m. for their show, because you obviously have a routine. Mine is sleeping a little longer than you and waking up and getting to the show and bringing Dave coffee if I'm after 6 a.m. Thanks, Dave. But it's been amazing. I'm living, honestly, you guys, I just wrote a speech I'm going back to Calgary, where I went to school at SAIT to do my 2 years of radio broadcasting school. And I'm accepting an award there for their outstanding alumni, which is very exciting. I'm leaving on a flight in 2 weeks for that. And I literally, right before coming here, just finished writing my speech. And in there I wrote, I'm not working my dream job, I'm working my dream life. Because I truly mean it. Like, this job and everything with Energy 106 and social media and all this has been so awesome and fun and exciting and rewarding, thrilling, kind of stressful, but at the same time just so beautiful that I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
What
And
isn't stressful, right?
Right,
It's
like-
going to be stressful no matter what you're
I
doing.
think life in 2024, it just kind of is, whether you're consuming your media digitally or whatever. I mean, the world is stressful, everything is stressful, but it's what you make of it. And I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else other than this. Like, those 4 hours in the studio are some of the best 4 hours of my day. I have the best time. So I really mean that, like, from the bottom of my heart. Like, I could get emotional thinking about it because, like,
Go ahead.
from
We
this-
can grab
yeah.
some tissues.
yeah, please. But this, this little boy, Tyler Carr from Swan River, Manitoba, who was like relentlessly bullied for as many years as I was there, who people told, I was handed a note saying, I always wanted to perform in some way, right? So I'd do the school plays and get made fun of for that. And, I'd get notes and people would be like, the only thing you'd ever do is Brokeback Mountain. I'm like, have you seen those guys? They have great careers now. So, but it's just tearing me down.
Yeah.
People putting up my face on archery boards and Lady Gaga's face and shooting arrows at it, trying to make fun of me for that. To be where I am right now, I couldn't thank, radio and everything enough for that, because it's truly awesome. It gives a voice to people that really didn't think that they might have it. And it really just focuses on who it is and personality. Like, one of the first things they tell you in radio broadcasting school is be yourself. And it's so cliche.
Yeah.
And I literally didn't understand it until I started working with Dave.
How hard is it to be yourself on the radio?
Now it's easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy. But you have to have someone in the show that is, and not to say in past shows it wasn't that way, but you need to have someone that pulls it out of you sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think when you're from a small town like Swan River, you sometimes get kind of boxed up, and I'm very proud of where I came from, but you're almost scared of, like, if I say this, the reaction will be this way, and I don't want people to think of me this way. So then you say something that's maybe, but it's just your brain kind of doing that, and you don't even realize that you're doing it.
Yeah.
Whereas Dave is able to be like, no, I can tell that that's not you. Be you. And now it's just second nature.
Did you tell Dave you're coming on the show?
I did.
Yeah. what
And
did you say?
the first thing he said was, we're talking about it tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually the first thing he said. And then he said, when the episode is out, we're going to play a bunch of the clips on air.
Awesome.
Well, this better.
I better
Matthew, the sound better be good.
Watch out.
We better be good.
We better-
I better be good.
No, and you guys, like, honestly, what you're doing here is awesome. Like, it truly is. And I mean, I'm not just trying to pump your own tires here, but there's a lot of people that try and do the podcast thing. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a following. It's hard to maintain things. It's hard to get guests. And, even me, I changed the time because I have something at 5 p.m. today. Like, there's so much going on that people don't know.
Yeah.
And you're actually producing quality content, more than I've ever seen. It's good local content. It's positive. It's funny. It's real. It's honest. So I give you guys a lot of credit, because it's a really hard thing to do. And we're lucky because, on air, we do our show and then we just put it into a podcast.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything additional for it. It's a lot of work
Yeah.
to even do a radio show. So I imagine your podcast. So congratulations to you guys.
Can
You deserve
grab
that.
that 50. that you promised?
We decided on 100.
Oh crap!
Yeah, I don't do anything for less than $100. Oh, okay.
There you go. There's your gifts for those nice, kind words for us.
Fun fact: this, I don't know if you can see it if I do it. This Mario right here.
Yeah.
This is actually signed by Charles Martinet, who was the original voice of Mario. When he came to Winnipeg for Comic-Con, he signed a piece of paper, and when he was done, I was like, "I'm putting this on my leg," and he's like, "Okay."
Excuse my ignorance. Does Mario have a voice?
Yeah. It's
What does it sound like? Can you do it?
Let's go.
It's me, I'm Mario.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know Mario's.
I thought you could do
such a huge
No,
backlash over
yeah.
his voice.
It was.
What side were you
Chris
on?
Pratt? Oh, in the Mario movie?
Yeah.
Honestly, people, it was funny because I was part of the judgment. So as soon as it was announced that Chris Pratt was doing the voice of Mario, I kind of was like, ugh, Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Then you watch it and I'm like, it makes sense. It's fine. Everybody's fine. Yeah.
He does the bad Mario voice.
Honestly, all of that entire movie was top tier, so I'm not even mad about it. I'm not mad about it. Illumination crushed it.
Have you seen the Mario Brothers movie?
No.
No.
It's okay. I've watched it enough for the both of us.
Well, I still need to watch.
You
it.
do. It's really good.
And what about Chris Pratt would have been that you didn't think would be good?
He was just over. I'm like, I kind of wanted Charles Martinet to do it, the actual voice of Mario.
Okay.
But then actually watching the movie, I was like, no, this kind of makes sense, the direction that they're going. Jack Black killed it as Bowser.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of them did, to be honest. Like, it was a really strong
Whenever
cast.
you do, I find whenever you do a movie that kind of has been done either in movie form or like video game form, it's always tempting to have the exact same people.
Yeah.
Like I think Beetlejuice, I went to go see that the other day.
How was it?
And
Good?
I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
But anyway, but they had half of the original cast. But everyone's like, why didn't you have all of the cast? And like, it's a different movie.
It is, and I think we're seeing that too. Like, I mean, Jack Black was great as Bowser, but now there's the Minecraft movie that's getting absolutely roasted online, and Jack Black is back doing another voice in that.
Oh,
I'm like,
is he?
it's like your worlds start to blend a little bit, and I'm like, but you were just Bowser. How are you in Minecraft? That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. And then you have Chris Pratt, who is now Garfield, and you're like, okay, I get that you're a Garfield cat now, but you were just him.
The best Garfield was by far Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Bill Murray is Garfield.
I mean, I didn't mind Chris Pratt too, so I mean,
But you have these iconic actors who get tight cast in certain things.
Yep.
I watched a documentary of Sean Connery, and the first anything he did was 007 and James Bond, and he did like 3 of them, and it exploded to the point where he was like, "Yeah, but I want to do other things."
Right.
And nobody saw him in
Because you
anything.
don't want to be
other
just
than
put into
007,
a box,
It's like,
right?
I want to do this, that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're James Bond.
Right. And I think a lot of the Marvel characters were maybe falling into that same realm because
Yeah.
they were so good at their superhero role that they were just doing that. And then they were like, well, I kind of want to do more than just, shoot webs from my hand, Tom Holland. And, but then he crushes it. He crushes it in other roles now too. So at least we're seeing that, they can branch off in different ways.
Or it's like musical artists
Yeah.
whose songs take off. Like I think Bryan Adams for the first 20 years after Everything I Do It For You from the soundtrack from Robin Hood. He's like, he hated that song.
Right.
Because everybody wanted to do
That's
that song.
all you know. But
That's all he knows. He's like, this is a terrible
You know who
song.
Bryan Adams is, right?
I do. Highway something.
No.
Highway. No, he doesn't sing that song.
No. Bryan Adams.
Summer of
Oh.
'69.
But of course,
Okay.
you
Life
know.
is a highway.
Yeah.
That's not Bryan
that's-
Adams.
Oh,
that's
never mind.
Scott
Oh,
Cochran.
never mind.
Bro, you would know Bryan Adams. Summer
Yeah.
of '69.
Yeah.
That's
That's the one.
Yeah.
Summer of
But
69.
Everything I do it for you.
But-
Yeah,
but
obviously.
he is the Bon Jovi of Canada.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Listen.
Or Bruce
Are
Springsteen
you
of
are you
Canada.
faking that you know who he is?
No,
You know?
I worked out on Hot AC Station for 2 years doing mornings in Brooks, Alberta. We played a lot of Bryan Adams.
Yeah.
We played a lot of.
Yeah, he knows
we
who
played
Bryan
Phil
Adams is.
Collins. So
In the air tonight.
yeah, that's a good drum solo, man.
It's such a good song.
That was
I
the-
just saw a preview with that song
Wow.
on it. I can't remember what movie it was.
Hangover had that one scene in the Hangover.
No, but there's a new movie that
And Mike
has-
Tyson punched him out.
Yeah. Oh.
the copyright part is really tough with the
Oh, I
with the
know.
editing because Tim likes to add
No,
everything in.
He just
and-
has me sing it and then it's not copyright because you can
Oh,
sing it.
Tim did promise a Michael Bublé, right?
Oh yeah.
Right? Okay,
When
let's hear it, Tim.
When did I promise Michael Bublé?
In the chat.
Yeah, but
said
I
that you would
didn't. I
sing.
didn't promise I would sing it. I just promised that I would get Michael. Bublé
Sponsored
on
by
the show.
Bubbly. Please pay these
And
two.
actually, I just said I would try to get him on the show. I didn't say I would actually get him on the show.
Okay.
He's in Ontario tonight, I think so.
So if we do
Can't
get
come here.
Michael Bublé on the show, we'll make sure that Tyler's here.
Please, yeah, let me
monitoring
know.
Audio and video.
I would just love to thank him for the genius marketing that is Bubbly. Get your cases now. Please sponsor these two.
Eventually somebody will hear it,
Yeah,
right?
Somebody will tag him. Somebody will get it. How we doing for my mic sound? We good? Yeah.
He's got it, so you're all good.
Okay, good.
You're the first guest to ask how your mic sound is.
That's all I care about.
Yeah.
It's the sound of your voice.
Honestly, it's everything when it comes to anything on air content creation. If it doesn't sound good, I'm over it.
So for the first 50 episodes that we did, I've been critiqued about how far away I am from the mic.
Yeah, you got to eat the mic.
And this is episode 54. So.
Yeah, popping peas is a big one too. I mean, you guys got nice pop filters.
Yeah.
You'll hear that.
You'll be able to hear that.
Yeah, you'll hear that.
Did you hear that, Matthew?
Yeah, but if you didn't have these, my instructor Richard from SATE, he would say that he would kick you in the shins if you ever heard a popping pea. So in editing, you'd actually have to go in and zoom in and splice out all the peas from your
really?
audio editing, or you would be deducted marks.
We do give our guests the best mic.
Yeah.
So like we have these
Perfect.
Amazon mics, and then that one's the Rode mic.
The best mic.
Yeah.
The
you
poppin'
can do a movie trailer with that
Oh,
mic
yeah.
if you wanted to.
Yeah, easily. Bubbly. Buy it now in stores.
There you go.
There's no peas there.
None.
There was
And they weren't popping.
I was,
There was no
fully
peas.
avoiding the peas.
back to the morning show thing.
Please.
We
I love
wanna
this.
Get back to
This
the
is like my
morning- just for a
ADHD brain.
second. How has the morning show become the way it is because of the city that it's in?
It's honestly, it all boils down to our program director Adam West and also our company Ebenov Communications, and that is me being fully honest. You know, yes, we've had some cuts, and yes, we've had some points where we've had to remove some roles, but not to the extreme that we've seen with other companies. But that's because they allow us to take form and be creative on whatever is relevant. And I think that whatever is happening, we've been able to kind of adapt the show. The pandemic was a great example. We were doing local guests at a certain time, promoting local businesses every day during the pandemic. Hey, do you do curbside delivery, pickup, whatever it is? And then that's over and boom, we're on to something else. We didn't have to seek approval for that. We didn't have to, with that, we were able to just be creative, and we were able to listen to what people were saying, whether it's the text line in person, Instagram DMs, or whatever that is, and adapt that so people were getting exactly what they needed. And we were doing exactly what we wanted to do, which was, service whoever was listening at the time.
Yeah.
So I think to answer your question is, it's just kind of always been that way. We've always been able to just do what we needed to do in that moment, whatever it was, take it and utilize whatever we need to do with it. Kind of just adapt with whatever Winnipeg is going through. I mean, sometimes Winnipeg goes through really beautiful moments, and sometimes, like any city, we go through really negative moments. But the radio station has always been a spot where people have been able to find some honesty that you're not necessarily going to get elsewhere. Realism that you're also not going to get elsewhere, and also really honest feedback and also opinions that you're also not usually going to get
and I think for like a morning show, it's not just what you're getting, it's when you're getting it, right? Because it's what starts your day,
right?
Whereas any type of media, other media might be the middle of the day, end of the day, but you start people's day.
And sometimes it's hard to remember that, right? Like when you're doing something that's so fun and goofy and you're laughing, and then you'll get that text and people are like, that was funny. You started my day great. And I look at Dave and I'm like, that feels awesome, And, sometimes though it isn't funny and sometimes it is more serious, but that's what I love most about the show is that it's every feeling that you're actually going to feel. We're not cookie cutters. We're not going to dance around. Sometimes I get uncomfortable. Sometimes Dave gets uncomfortable. Sometimes we fight. Sometimes we laugh. We just want to be exactly who we are. And I think that's kind of what a lot of radio is missing right now across the country is, you're getting a lot of these syndicated morning shows, or you're getting these syndicated shows from out of market, and people can hear that, and people can they know that because you're not talking about real things that are happening in your community. And that's why Dave and I, Mark and Dilly, we're sticking out more than some people because we're actually in person in the community, hearing what people are saying and talking about those issues and being real about them. I pray we don't agree on everything.
And you're working with community too.
Yeah.
like a Pizza Hotline, I believe,
Yeah.
right, is a big one.
Oh, yeah, we got
Um,
Vernos Auto Body, we got IJL, all these local businesses, the Marshmallow Factory. I mean, I don't have them all right now, I apologize, but, Jim Pattison, Subaru South, and Regent, all of these companies that are investing in local radio
Yeah.
is because they believe in the product that's coming out of it, right? But at the same time, they're also seeing an ROM in radio, that's return on investment. And, but that's what it is, right? It's a local company supporting local people in the community
Yeah.
and then feeding into the local community. How much more could you love that?
and you guys are
truly?
tying it into social media.
Yeah,
you guys are
absolutely.
tying it into like posting. all that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stuff,
Right now we're doing really well when it comes to social media, and that's super exciting when it comes to local businesses that are maybe starting out and struggling, or they don't feel like they have a platform. It's like it's really cool to be a part of that.
So, do you find, like you're saying, it's good to be authentic?
Yeah.
But as we know, in 2024, there's political correctness where there's that line, or you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a line that you can balance that sometimes it's tricky to know when you're over,
Right.
how far you need to go. Do you find that you're always cognizant of that line when you're doing your show?
No, actually, if I'm being honest. Like, I think that maybe some people would be more than others. But no, because honestly, I feel like it's just such a safe space in there. And yeah, there's going to be, the odd time we'll say something and then the text line will be like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. And it's like, but then you start a discussion rather than oh, you said this and that's wrong. A lot of the people that listen to the show, they're not afraid to disagree with you, and I'm not afraid to have you disagree with me, as long as we can just talk about each side and understand that, like, okay, if we don't agree with each other, we can still move on with our day.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no room, for certain things. I would say homophobia and racism and all that, but those are just lines that are, for me, I've grown up with those lines just not crossing them, so that comes easy to me. But yeah, no, not at all. I think that the base of our listeners, and especially what we call our P1s, which are our loyal listeners, are super cool and awesome, and
The
they
ones that call in
yeah,
every day.
all the time. Martha and Brandon and Marlan, all these people that Crystal and Devin, all these people that legitimately are obsessed with the show, which I love, and they hear everything and they listen to the podcast. They've never once said, I'm never listening to you because I disagree with you. If anything, it just allows for both of us to have a conversation about
You
it.
gave me romper room vibes, and it's sad that you probably have no idea what I'm talking about for
Mhm.
that. So, do you have any idea what I'm talking about when I say romper room? No, you don't.
No.
Anyway, so you are, as I see on your social media, Mr. Manitoba. Are you really get all the things about Manitoba? You love Manitoba as a province, Winnipeg as a city.
Yep.
Assume I am from another country.
Yep.
Never been here, but I'm looking at moving here.
Mhm.
Sell me on the province.
I mean, I could sell you on any province. And I love that question for a few reasons. And I love that you called me like Mr. Manitoba. But truly, I think I would be doing this no matter where I lived. And I think that it's often a misconception of people that are living in a certain city and they're like, ooh, I hate it. There's nothing to do here. Have you heard of Google? Have you heard of looking on social media? Because when you do that, you will find people that are living their most authentic lives here, and it's awesome. But if you were going to come to Winnipeg and you were going to move to Manitoba, I'd tell you, do you really want to move to Vancouver or Toronto where you're going to pay 3 times the rent and really not have the quality of life? We've got hikes around here. We've got some of the best festivals, the most affordable spots in the city to eat or do anything. Yeah, our transit sucks, but hey, at least we've got the jets.
Hey,
And
we
you
were
know
just
what?
talking.
Honestly, it just kind of like, it fucking pisses me right off. And there's my swearing for your editing. Yeah, cover his ears. But it's one of those things, and like I'll post a video on TikTok, and it's something beautiful about Winnipeg and Manitoba, and you've got all those people that are like, Manitoba sucks, Winnipeg sucks, and I'm like, your attitude sucks.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if you don't want to live here, get out. And if you can, why are you not making the best out of the situation? And I get it. Everybody's lives are different. You maybe come from a different background or whatever it is. But when you really step outside and see the beauty in your community, it can be lovely. I've met my best friends here. I have family here. I've had the most success here. And Winnipeg has literally been so awesome. And the businesses are the most creative businesses, I think, in Canada. You've got literally, I mentioned the Marshmallow Factory. You have a literal storefront where you can go get over 40 different brands of marshmallows in Winnipeg. You have a spot. I just went to Rosé Coffee and Wine Bar for Between the Buns. cool plug. Where they almost did it. Where they had a burger that was this size that could feed 4 people. Where else are you getting that stuff?
Yeah.
You're not.
Well, Tim wouldn't eat it though, so I'd have to eat.
I
the
eat
whole
the
thing.
middle.
That's fine. That's fine.
He doesn't eat buns.
Oh.
He doesn't like carbs.
Oh.
I like carbs.
Yeah.
They just don't agree with my waistline.
That's fair. You're doing great, by the way. You don't let anybody tell you don't look amazing. You do. I wouldn't come
Who's
on.
telling me that? Hey,
He's on to us. But no, I get really riled up with stuff like that because I just I don't know. I'm seeing all these local people.
It's a touchy point to
Look
you. It
at
looks
you
like.
guys. You guys have a literal awesome podcast in this basement where you've got professional lighting and great speakers and sound guys and laptops, and you had my picture edited up here. It's Winnipeg. It's awesome. I just don't get it. It's all in your mindset. Thermia is a great example.
I love Thermia.
I could go on and on.
Hargrave Thermia is only one of 3 in Canada.
Hargrave Street Market. Have you been in there and seen it? And yeah, people are like, oh, maybe this is too expensive. That's too expensive. Just walk in there. Hear the live music. They do salsa Sundays. Are you actually looking at what our community is doing? Or are you just jumping on a hate bandwagon because it's going to get you 6 likes on TikTok?
Yeah. And it's funny because me and Lorraine actually got into showcasing Manitoba back in 2017, and we would take the kids out to different places, and we wanted to show them where you can take kids, essentially, right? We noticed
I remember seeing those vlogs on YouTube, actually.
Yeah, it was something where we thought there was a hole there.
Yeah.
Right? There wasn't people showing what Manitoba had. And we actually discovered more things. I think we did 40 or 50 different episodes. We discovered more things in those 40 or 50 weekends.
Yeah.
We called it Saturday with the Stewarts, plug for that, where we actually found stuff for the kids to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was free.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it was easy to do and easy to go to.
And I can understand though, maybe we're in a different position because you guys you're looking for those things and you have to because it's for the podcast or for your YouTube thing, or maybe I get handed them because they want me to come because it's for a video on social media. But when you legitimately look at some of the hikes that we have or some of the trails that we have, Birds Hill, the Human Rights Museum, they did free Sundays all summer.
Free Sundays?
Yeah, so that you could go to the Human Rights Museum for free.
They don't give out free Sundays.
Oh
no, yeah. Could you, I thought he meant that.
I knew exactly what he meant when he said that.
The human rights is just giving away human rights on Sundays. So you finally get that.
Free ice cream
Yeah.
Sundays.
we were getting free ice cream.
Oh, we're back on the ice cream train. I like that.
That's where his brain goes all the
Yeah,
time.
no, but they were doing free admission and stuff like that. To me, is super awesome, and not enough people look and they utilize that. Fort White Alive, it's in the middle of our city.
I know, right?
And again, you can go, and I'm not knocking any other city aside from maybe the rent in Toronto and Vancouver. But if you go to Calgary, you go to Edmonton, or you go to those bigger spots, yeah, you're going to get more stuff. But you're driving an hour to get to work. You're driving here. Are you really looking at some of the positive things? And I'm the first one to clock the fact that we've got lights on the perimeter, or that our roads suck, or that it's slow in the construction. And those are all basic things. But when it actually boils down to having a decent city, we do have awesome things with awesome people, and you just have to be able to take the time and breathe and look.
And as you said, it's about perspective. So even if you didn't have those things, if you were living here, it's better to appreciate the things you have.
Life is so short that I just don't understand why more people aren't trying to find the good rather than just post about the bad.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I see it. I see Winnipeg Wild and all the time and the crazy stuff that's happening in our city. I get that. But it's happening everywhere, and there's still a lot of good here. And that's why I love it. And that's why I will continue to show it.
Awesome. Great answer.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's awesome.
So I was going through your social media, and you were talking about a decade ago that you went through some pain. And the only reason I bring this up is because I want to go back and have you tell a story about Lady Gaga.
Yeah, please. I love telling that story.
And the whole thing. So
Before he tells a story about Lady Gaga, quick little fact.
Yeah.
My kids have been calling my mom Gaga for 23 years.
She's about to wear a meat dress. That's what that means. No, that's awesome.
They couldn't say grandma, so they called her Gaga. So, and then Lady Gaga came out.
Yeah.
And then it was funny. We're like, Lady Gaga, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, my oldest son, who's 23 now, couldn't say grandma, so he always called her Gaga. And
she's still referred to as Gaga?
Yes. My oldest son, 23 years old, still calls her Gaga.
I love that.
And another funny story about Lady Gaga before we get into it. I think I texted you or messaged you this one back in the day. Lorraine, my wife,
Yeah.
actually saw Lady Gaga at
What?
Blush.
Blush. It was Blush. Okay.
At Blush.
I want to tell
downtown.
the story too, but I begged my mom to come to that show.
But Lorraine didn't even know she was on.
I begged my mom to come, and she wouldn't let me because it was at a bar, and I was not, and there was no way because I wasn't of age. I was so sad, and I was so mad, and I begged and begged and begged, and then it was when Gaga announced her show with Kanye West. That is a throwback. It was in Winnipeg. I got tickets to that. Then it was canceled.
Oh no.
So then I did not get to see Lady Gaga in Winnipeg, and I never have, which has always been such a sore spot. But when anybody brings that show up from Blush, I get so happy because I'm like, it would have been so cool,
Yeah.
but I was not of age yet. I couldn't. I was obsessed with her then, but I couldn't come.
And the funniest thing was Lorraine was there with her friends, and all of a sudden they were just dancing on the dance floor,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden the lights went down, and Lady Gaga was on the stage, and
Ugh.
she played, and then she disappeared, and it was over. And Lorraine's like, it was the weirdest
I'm
thing.
jealous.
So, but yeah, it was a pretty cool experience for her. But anyway, back
Please.
to your question. I
Ask me
interrupted.
the question. I'm very excited about this.
To re-ask you the exact same question I just asked
Yeah,
You didn't ask.
you didn't
I
ask.
did,
Yeah,
I
you just asked.
interrupted.
No,
Yeah.
I asked the question. So you talked about a
Oh, yeah,
situation
10
in
years
life
ago. Yep.
10 years ago.
Yep.
And can you tell us about that and how
Absolutely.
Lady Gaga figured in that story?
Yeah, it's the most life-changing moment of my life, I feel like. And when I was talking about writing a speech earlier about that, this is all in there. This is, to me, 10 years ago was the most impactful year of my life. It was the hardest, it was the craziest, it was devastating, it was depressing, it was everything that people don't want it to be. But I was starting my radio broadcasting career at SAIT, doing the radio, television, and broadcast news program, and my best friend Matt was diagnosed with cancer for the second time. And when I tell you he was my best friend, in Swan River, he was my life. We hung out every day. We worked at the Swan Valley Co-op together for as many years as we could. I still remember, him and I, we would sometimes roll cans down the aisle at each other, and text nonstop and Facebook message nonstop, play video games nonstop, play Super Smash Bros. All the time. It was the coolest friendship ever. And I have never found a friend like him. And so that year, Matt unfortunately passed away from cancer. And, I was in Calgary at SAIT, and he was at the HSC in Winnipeg. And I remember begging my mom to let me fly to see him, but she couldn't afford to pay for flights, and I was in school and I couldn't. And it came down to, you're either coming home at Christmas or you're going to go see Matt. And I said, I'm going to go see Matt. And so I flew from Calgary to the Winnipeg, and I went to the HSC, and I hung out with him, and he somehow was just doing great that weekend. We ordered pizza. We got 15 noise complaints at the HSC, which was pretty sweet. And we played a lot of Super Smash Bros. And we were hanging out, and
Had a couple Cokes.
yeah, we did actually. We did a lot of Coca-Cola, and unfortunately, that visit was the last time I saw him. And I had no idea. And leaving, I had this. It was, looking back on it, it was the doors. He came out holding his IV and was walking out to the doors, and I was saying goodbye to him. And at that moment, I obviously didn't know, because I didn't think that he was going to pass, and he was so optimistic. But he gave me a hug, and I always felt like that hug was just very special. And after he passed, I knew that's why it was special, because
Yeah.
it was the last one. And after that, he passed, and I did go back to. It's okay. I'm a quick crier. I'll be done in a second. And
It's okay.
it's sometimes for dramatic effect, it'll just trickle down. You can zoom in on it. It's fine. It's coming right now. If you want to do it. It's beautiful. It's a real slow one too. Oh God.
Do you want to?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you guys. But after that, I got back, and it was really cool. My class at SAIT was 32 people, and they surprised me with a website, and the website was honoring Matt, and he hadn't even passed yet. I had just went to visit him, and they were just really cool. And SAIT was kind of that rock for me, get back into it, do radio, get what you want to do. And then it was when Matt passed, it was horrendous, but I went back to Swan River. And I honestly thought I was going to drop out of the program. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this. I was very depressed, low-key, kind of suicidal at some moments. I didn't think that my time on Earth made any sense. And I had a Lady Gaga concert coming in 2 months, and it was my first time seeing her, and it was actually in Calgary, and I got the tickets with my friend Kat, and I wasn't gonna go. I literally, believe it or not, I was saying no to a Lady Gaga show. That's how messed up I was, and I can't remember who it was at the time. I think it was probably my mom, and she was like, "Just go, like, go to the show." And so I drove out, and at the time, Gaga, she was doing a lot of things where people would throw letters on stage, and she would read them, and I dreamt of that. Like, I would
Yeah.
watch concert videos in my mom's basement, being like, "Oh my god, she read 5 letters. Hopefully, one day she'll read mine." Never actually thinking that she would, but I felt like I needed to write something. I was hurting, and I wrote something about Matt and Lady Gaga. And when I got to the Saddle Dome, I knew exactly when I wanted to throw it up on stage, and I had it laminated so it would fall face up. So she knew that it wouldn't be a long letter, and she would probably pick it over the others. I really worked on it because I
Yeah.
wanted it to happen. But it was when I saw like 50 letters go up on stage at that moment, and I'm like,
Yeah,
there's no way.
Yeah.
And she grabbed a Canadian flag that had a letter on it. She didn't read it. She put it on like a drape. She ran around, and she's like, "I'm in Canada." And then she's like, and someone threw a letter, and she reached down and picked mine up. And then that's when chaos ensued in my head. I started screaming. And keep in mind, I had just lost my best friend 2 months ago to the day. And I couldn't believe it. I just remember screaming, "That's my letter, that's my letter." And all the fans parted. Like, it was crazy. They like let me have that moment.
Yeah.
And it was so cool. But I told my friend Kat, I was like, I will not be in any position to record if she picks up my letter. So if she does, I need you to, because that is the only thing that is going to get me out of this dark space with Matt and his passing. And she did. The minute that she picked up the letter, my friend Kat recorded the whole thing,
Wow.
and Gaga read the whole thing.
I can't thank you enough for writing music. It gets me through the hardest times and creates memories, especially hair. My best friend Matt unexpectedly got diagnosed with cancer for the second time in October last year. He passed away 2 months ago on March 26th. One thing I always look back on is him and I singing your song Hair. It may seem like a generic memory, but those are what mean the most now. I've been waiting over 6 years to see you in concert. Your music makes me happy and keeps me positive. I'd love to thank you in person. Thanks for doing what you do, and thank you for the best night of my life, Tyler. I'm really sorry about your friend. That's really hard.
Thank you.
I don't even know totally what to say, except that I know he's here with us right now, right?
Talking about Matt passing, and she told me that obviously he was there with us, and she sang a song for him, which was Hair. And that was, Matt wasn't a huge Lady Gaga fan, but he put up with a few songs for me, and Hair was one of them. He loved it. And he would always send Snapchats of like him writing Hair lyrics and whatnot. And she sang the whole song for him and changed the lyrics to, "So Matt, you're as free as your hair."
You're as free as your hair.
That's what that song is about, kind of just letting free of all your problems in life and your pain and all that. And she was so right. And that's the message I've hung on to. Like, I don't want my friend to continue getting cancer and live that life of chemo and, having to go through these tough surgeries. He has no pain anymore. He is as free as his hair. And I appreciate that. And she invited me backstage, which was wild. And I had to wait like 4 hours to meet her after the show, Lady Gaga. Oh my God, girl. Oh. And I was so dehydrated, and I was backstage, and all the workers are like, "Drink this, it's coconut water." I'm like, "Oh, just not the vibe." And it was like, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna say. What am I gonna say when I turn the corner? I wasn't prepared for this. I was prepared for her to read my letter, not for me to meet her. And I remember I turned the corner and I just started crying, like actually sobbing. And she just, in her cutesy little thing, like moved over and just gave me a hug and just was like, "Shh. don't talk, just listen. And she told me about her friend Sonia, who was battling cancer at the time, and how Sonia would want Gaga to continue living her life and her dream, and that she knew that Matt wanted me to do the same thing. And that's why I went back to radio school, and that's why I didn't drop out of the program, is because of Lady Gaga and Sate and what they did. And we took a bunch of pictures. I actually had bracelets on that said Matt 2, Cancer 0. You know, it was his second time fighting cancer. We all wore those, and I held them out, and she started crying, and I put one on her wrist for her, and she took a bunch of pictures, and she was like, the coolest thing ever. She's like, you know, I get a lot of messages. She's like, but I'm going to follow you on Twitter. And she's like, and if you're ever having a bad day, you can just write me a message on Twitter and just keep it like an open diary. And she's like, I probably will never be able to respond to you, but just know that I'm opening that for you and I for the rest of your life if you ever need it. And I'm not joking. She literally followed me the next morning.
That's
Awesome.
fantastic.
I didn't give her my I didn't tell her anything. She legitimately found me and followed me. Like, she remembered it.
That's awesome.
It was so cool. It's like my favorite story of life. Like, truly, honestly, you guys. You know, when people are like, why do you love Lady Gaga so much? It's so weird. I'm like, no, like, she is fully the reason that I was able to see a different side of Matt in that moment.
Yeah.
It was no longer a death. It was me living my life in a celebration for him. And that's what she literally told me. And technically, she was the first person I came out to. Huh.
Wow.
Yeah. So when everybody's like, oh, when did you come out? I was like, well, long story. I met Lady Gaga and she was the first one. And people are like, what? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I told her everything. You know, she gave me like 15 minutes.
Wow.
Like, I got out and I looked at the phone. I'm like, it was 15 minutes. She signed things. Oh my God. It's just like crazy to me. Like,
Yeah.
it's so surreal. Like 10 years later, I'm like, how did that happen? Oh, it's so awesome. But yeah.
Yeah, that story, like, I knew
Thank
that-
you guys for letting me share that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I love it.
fantastic.
I love it.
I've known the story of Matt because every year you honor him, right? But I never knew the story of everything. So, like, to hear it is like, to hear that story is to know that heart,
Mhm.
right? And to
I think
know
it's
where
also
you're
a
coming
reminder
from.
too that like it's so not weird to love like artistry and music the way that people do. You know, I think sometimes people find like a fan being like too much, but it's like, no, these people are making music and getting you through really tough times of your life. And, you know, especially when you get an opportunity to meet your superstars or whatever it is, they can really put you on a really positive trajectory, like a positive path for life.
Yeah.
And I think that's really awesome. And I give Gaga a lot of credit because, you know, she had every opportunity not to pick up any letters that night, but she sang a song, she had a moment, invited me backstage, gave me the time, gave me advice, set me up on the right path, took photos, signed my stuff, and then followed me to open a dialogue.
Yeah. And like you said, hundreds of letters are getting thrown on stage. The chances of you
Hundreds.
of
There's a
the
video
letter
that
being-
shows the letters, and like, you know, she doesn't do that anymore. She's done a few. She's, you
Yeah.
know, stadiums are a lot harder for that, and it's dangerous. She's got so many dancers, but like there's a video from the aerial view of the letters going up, and you guys, it was like everybody in the front.
Do you, so just a question for that. Do you
Yeah.
believe in fate?
I do, and I think that was my moment of being like, yeah, I laminated it and I wanted it to her to see it that way, and I attached her favorite style of unicorn, but she picked up a Canadian flag that legitimately had a letter attached to it, and she gifted me that Canadian flag. Like, she wore it and then gave it to me, and the fan after came up, he's like, can I just get my letter back from on it? You can keep the flag. And I was like, absolutely. And he took his letter off. Like, she should have read that letter.
Yeah.
That should have been the one she read. And then she ran all the way around the stage and then decided to pick mine up.
Do you know who that guy was?
No, he
No.
was just some random fan beside me.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to have his letter and you could read it on the air.
Right. And you know what? I looking back on it, I almost wish that I got to read it, but I think for him, he was trying to like grab it and like maybe throw it again and like
The next
future-
time.
Well, plus it wasn't any of your business.
Right. And maybe it was very personal. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was awesome, you guys. Like,
But just going to show like where you are now, you're in a position where you could do that for people.
oh,
right?
That's
Like-
sweet.
Well, it's true. Like
Yeah.
you're on the
Oh,
radio, you're
yeah.
a public person. Like you're out there. You're doing Dreams Take Flight, you're doing Galactica Ice
Yeah.
Cream. You're doing all this stuff. People look up to you. right? So when you do something for them,
I think that
makes them feel that way.
I think my passion for even just getting involved with things that matter comes from that moment. Like it's not that I didn't before, but I almost felt like the world was against me when I was in high school and people were bullying me. And then Gaga was like, no, you're super cool and awesome and you deserve this moment. And then I was like, oh, okay, so does everybody else.
Yeah.
So does everybody else. And that's why if anybody wants a tour of the radio station or they want to know this or that, they absolutely can have it. You can have the world.
Yeah.
This or that.
This or that. Should we go to this or that? Should we change gears?
Let's change gears for a second.
do
So
it.
you said the magic word this or that. That's the safe.
Oh,
That's the safe word.
I love it.
And so because you said this or that, we are going to play the game this or that. Cue the music. We have done.
There is
All
no
right
music
then.
still.
So this or that is essentially a game in which
Avery was supposed to make us a theme song for this or that.
Well, she has failed miserably.
We will
We'll
have to
talk to
follow
Lady
up with
Gaga.
Avery.
If you could send a message to Lady Gaga.
Yeah, like raw.
Yeah. Well, it's something.
Without being copywritten?
No.
Um,
How about Matthew sing the song? Because that's not copyright.
No, he's
No.
still-
Oh, right when I'm taking a
So
drink.
so
That, I almost spit
so
it out.
this or that is a game where essentially you pick this or that. When you
Okay,
pick
I know
one
I
of
have
the
to
things,
change my position for this.
when you pick
Let's go.
one of them, the other one goes away forever.
Like I have Mario sitting like I'm Santa.
You-
I'm like,
yes,
yes, like for Christmas,
like a
a
Muppet.
Switch light.
and you can elaborate on your answer,
Fun.
or you can choose just to move on. And are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Did I miss something of this or that explanation?
No, I know what it is.
Oh, are you reading it?
I was going to give it to you. You like to
Okay.
have the piece of paper.
Okay.
Yes, I do like to have
He's
a piece
very
of
much
paper.
like a Kevin Nealon style. He likes to have
yeah.
paper. Do you know who Kevin Nealon is? Oh my goodness,
I knew as soon as you said that he would not know who Kevin Nealon is.
Kevin
Sorry,
Nealon.
I'm only 30.
Do you know who Norm Macdonald is?
No.
He won't know either. Have you seen the movie Happy Gilmore?
Oh, I hate it.
You hate it?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
so
well,
mad
they're
that they're
making a
making.
second one.
They should stop immediately.
We've had enough time here. We'd like
Yeah.
to thank our guests
You know what's so
for
funny?
his time in the
Same-
studio.
Same reaction with Dave. I appreciate that y'all love it. I'm like, I don't get it, but whatever.
You don't get the movie at all?
No,
You've seen it though.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I assume that when you didn't
Golfing.
like his movie, you don't
So,
like any of his movies.
You have to remember that his movie isn't realistic. It's not coming from
I
us.
know that.
A lot of people
like-
don't like Adam Sandler. That's
Like
fine.
Mario Brothers, they jump in pipes and stuff.
But I
like,
get it because I grew up with it. I didn't grow up with
You
Happy
are-
Gilmore. I'm happy for you guys. Don't put it on me.
Yeah,
Okay.
You watch
are
it in your
free.
alone time, and I will
Yeah.
not watch
So
it in mine.
before we get to this or that real quick then,
Yeah.
what is your favorite old movie? Like a movie that
Old.
came out before you were like
When you were a kid,
Grease.
okay.
Yeah, Grease.
One or two.
One.
I'm
Only
just kidding.
one.
I'm just kidding.
I was like, wait, is that a serious
There
question?
is a-
I
there's a
know, I
second
know,
one.
Oh, I know.
just like there's a second Saturday Night Fever,
Yeah.
which also was terrible. You know, Sylvester Stallone directed that the number 2, Saturday Night Live 2,
I didn't watch
or
Saturday Night
Saturday Night
Fever.
Fever number 2,
Oh, okay.
and it was horrible.
Oh, just like Grease 2.
It was horrible. Yeah. Anyway,
Okay, we're
This
gonna
or
go to
that.
This or that.
We can make you a fun intro. This or that.
Instagram or TikTok.
One disappears
Why did
forever.
that get me so mad? Because without TikTok, I wouldn't. Oh.
And the other one goes away for life if once you pick the other one. No pressure.
Oh my god, why did that stress me out so bad?
Most people are instant on that answer.
No, okay. So I'm gonna answer, but I'm gonna tell you why this is hard for me. I love TikTok because it is the reason that I have any sort of social media success. I owe TikTok my life, but Instagram is a little more lenient to me having a personal life and I can share just anything, where TikTok's like, you must show me fun things to do in Winnipeg in under 15 seconds or I'm going to scroll away from you and then I'm never going to watch your video again. So I'm going to go with Instagram.
And TikTok's gone forever.
No!
Event inside the city or a country outdoors rural event?
I would say outside the city. And not that I don't love the inside city ones, I do love them. But Bring Your Love is a great example of something out at Ledwidge Family Farm that I love. I
never
love
heard of that.
It's amazing. It's like EDM art music for a couple days out at a farm sanctuary. They have 2 stages of music. It's all camping. It's really beautiful and fun. So for that event alone, I would say that. Yeah.
Okay.
I was just thinking I'm very outdoorsy for myself.
Yeah.
I just want to sleep outdoors.
Yeah.
I want to go home.
That's
to a
so
nice bed.
fair. Honestly,
Yeah.
love hiking, love
Yep.
doing all that stuff. So, as much as I love Winnipeg, getting out and seeing the outskirts reminds you of the province that you're in. So.
Before we go into the next one, what's your favorite hike in Manitoba?
I would say Spirit Sands for like the average person to like go out and enjoy a hike. But if you're more of an avid hiker and you don't mind getting into some water and sand and then forest and then beach and then rocks and then forest, then water, then sand, I would say Elk Island.
Okay. Elk Island.
It is the coolest.
Have you done
hike.
Elk Island, Tim?
I haven't. I'm a big hiker, but
You
honestly,
have to.
there's some stuff in Manitoba I need to go do.
You need to do Elk Island.
He
Okay.
loves to hike outside of Manitoba, but he's got to
Okay.
get
Honestly,
Yeah.
Elk Island was the reason I basically fell in love with hiking.
How far away is
It's
it?
about an hour away.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
Elk
it's really
Island.
not.
I will do that. For
It's
sure.
a longer hike, but you can do it.
No,
I believe in you.
I definitely can do it.
Yeah.
So tomorrow.
You didn't eat the
Uh,
buns, so you've got to.
I can definitely do that. How long of a hike is it?
Oh, it's a couple hours.
Oh, that's no problem.
Yeah, you're fine.
No problem.
You're fine.
Would you like to do a staycation where you're chilling and doing not a lot of anything, or going to a big city and doing tons and tons and tons and tons and tons
This
of
is
stuff?
so hard because I want to do it all. But currently, right now, in this position, sitting in this chair on whatever day and whatever time it is, staycation.
Yeah.
I need some time to build Lego.
All right, there you go. Good answer. Not the right one, but it's a good
That's
answer.
fine.
Rom-com or horror flick?
Depends on the season. I want all the rom-coms at Christmas. Lindsay Lohan's Falling for Christmas from Netflix is one of the best Christmas movies of all time, and like it's so cute. But I'm gonna go horror.
All right.
Horror.
Yeah,
wow.
I love. Oh my gosh, that's all my friends and I watch.
Your biggest number one classic horror movie, in your opinion, is?
Oh, you guys are murdering me.
That's not a movie.
That should be the name
Tim
of the
and
movie.
Greg show.
That is the correct answer.
I would say, God, you guys. I mean, I was gonna say Long Legs because that's the last one I just watched, but it really wasn't that scary. I don't know. I can't pick a favorite. You guys
Scary
are
movie.
stressing me out.
All right, fine. Think about it. Moving on to the next
I want
one.
to answer it.
No, I can move on.
No, it's fine. I would say like Midsummer. Honestly, loved it. I rewatched it though. It wasn't the same that it was when I first watched it. So I would say Midsummer if you're watching it for the first time, but not the second time.
All right, final answer.
I remember seeing Night of the Living Dead
Oh,
as a child.
so good.
I was probably 11 or 12 years old when I saw it.
Okay.
And I was at a friend's place. I would have never
Yeah.
been able to see it at my parents' place. My parents wouldn't have let me watch it, but I went to my
thinking.
friend's place. Like, this is the old Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
And I couldn't sleep for 3 days.
I kind of want to. Can I look at my phone?
Go ahead.
Send
While you look at your phone, I'll tell you a story.
Well,
Also,
I was gonna call. Like, can I do like the who's line? What is it?
Yeah.
Not who, call
you
a
go
friend.
ahead.
or
Phone a friend.
something?
Go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll take a minute.
Okay. I'm gonna see if Mitch will answer.
You can put him on speakerphone.
I'm
and
going
just,
to. I'm going to
direct it towards the microphone,
Yeah, I
and we
will.
can get him
Yeah.
too.
Let's see what his is. Maybe he'll have a good one.
Yeah, perfect.
This is Mitch, by the way, my partner. If he doesn't pick up, he's at work, but he will because he doesn't ignore my calls.
Hi,
Hi, Noodle. How are you?
good. How are you?
Good. I'm on the podcast live right now, so turn on your happy voice.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
What is one of our favorite horror movies? They're asking, and I'm blanking. What's one of your favorite horror movies?
I don't. Oh, I'd say Halloween actually.
Oh, good answer. Good
Yeah,
answer.
Halloween probably by
Like
far.
the original?
The original, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
The
That's
new ones are good, but the originals are always like top tier.
yeah. I would
Okay.
agree.
And we have a segment called What's Avery Doing Now?
Yeah. Okay.
But now that we've got Mitch on the phone, can
Yeah,
we
do
do
what's-
What's Mitch doing
yeah.
now?
What are you doing right now, Mitch?
Pretending to work.
Okay. We will not release his job.
I was gonna say no. You can.
You worked at
Yeah. Building Lego tonight, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Building Lego and then watching VMAs.
Okay. Okay. Bye. Love you.
Okay, bye. Love you too.
There you go.
That was classic.
One time we called Avery and she was
What's Mitchell doing
Yeah.
now?
We call him Noodle.
Okay, why?
Noodle.
Noodle because he has a brain like a little noodle, and he dances like a little noodle when he's drunk.
Does he dance like the
Yeah, like-
floppy guy?
Yeah, like he just kind of does this weird noodle dance, and so then also if he's like a fettuccine noodle one day, and like a linguine noodle, depending on the day.
Before I go to the next question, when I was in grade 8,
Yeah.
my friend called me up and said, "Hey, let's go to the town theater downtown, and we're gonna watch Chucky." I'm like, okay.
Also a good
I
one.
didn't have many friends, so I was like, I know exactly Chucky. I don't like horror movies, but I go with my friend to go see Chucky. And after the movie, he's like, that was like a really, really scary movie. I'm like, did you not like take the time to realize what kind of movie you're
Yeah,
going to?
like that's a terrifying
Do you
movie.
remember Town Theater?
Wait, I was gonna say, is that like the old landmark downtown?
Yes.
Yeah, I went once.
Yeah,
One.
it was.
So
it
that
was my.
scary in itself.
I
that
was
they
gonna
went
say,
there.
you sit down in that theater and you think you're filming a horror movie.
They-
right.
That was iconic.
It was my
though.
favorite ghetto movie. I ghetto theater. I miss that place.
It's
'Cause
yeah.
it was ghetto,
Yep.
but I like ghetto, but a certain type of ghetto.
Yep.
He took me there once.
That's
I
like-
went once.
Hey, listen, that's like
Yeah.
small town vibes right
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and there's something to be said about there. The
Yeah.
the
That's
popcorn
exactly right.
the popcorn's cheaper.
Yeah,
The movies are cheaper. and you
easier to
get
sneak into a second
I grew
movie.
up
100%.
to a movie theater. I grew up in Thompson for my first few years.
Oh, nice.
So our movie theater, when I went back to Thompson there, it was the same movie theater, but they took out every second row
For more legroom.
for more legroom. So literally,
That's
like
amazing.
it was because they weren't filling it, and then it had a
Right.
mezzanine or whatever above.
Now
that
we've
you
got
could-
Landmark Cinema with the premier seats. Oh
where
my
you're
god!
lifting.
No, have you guys heard of the premier seats?
No.
Yes.
So they're heated.
Yeah.
They're bigger and they're heated, and they have actually a drawer that you can put stuff in and like coats and yep, it's amazing. And they have dividers. So if you were a couple and you want to really get cozy, you can just it's like a full ass couch.
And
It's
this is at like
Landmark
Grand Park.
Cinema
Grand
or
Park,
Grand Park. Yep.
There was only one.
There's one
landmark.
row that is it's amazing. Anyway, this or
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we were just at Grand Park. It's
Yeah.
very good. I've been too cheap to pay the extra $6 for $7 for that. But anyway,
You need a
continuing
sponsorship
on,
from Bubbly.
or Landmark Theaters, Family Guy or The Simpsons.
Oh, Family Guy. That shit's awesome. I think
Agree.
I've seen every season like 100 times. Simpsons ain't got nothing on Family Guy, and I will fight anybody on that.
There you go.
You ready
Giggity.
for some hard ones here, though?
Yeah,
Okay,
Would you rather interview Lady Gaga or star in a Nintendo movie?
And dead air. We got those crickets.
Then we have the
Here's the crickets.
Jeopardy song, which he doesn't know either.
Interview Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
I knew he'd say
Yeah.
that. Are you an early morning person or a late night owl?
Late night owl.
Which is
And
why
you
you
get up early in the morning. sort
No,
of.
but that's why he gets to work at 5.
And that's why I still am out
Isn't
doing
energy
things.
down at Bipolar Park?
Yeah.
So you got like a half-hour drive to work.
Oh
every
no!
morning.
At the 5 a.m., it's like 20 minutes, and then after
there's
work,
no
it's
traffic.
like 25.
That's like one of the best things about
Yep.
getting up and going.
It's one of the
somewhere.
best things about Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I have a 6:50 a.m. flight. Can you drive? No, just kidding.
Airport is right there. You'd be shocked how many people ask me, and I'm like,
No.
You drink coffee?
oh yeah.
Tim's, Starbucks, or McDonald's? Coffee. Just coffee.
McDonald's weekdays, Starbucks when I want to post an Instagram.
Okay. That's
Okay.
very detailed
Yeah, like if
answer.
I'm going in like a pumpkin patch and I'm having like a fall moment with plaid and I'm being cutesy with my boyfriend,
Yeah.
I'm not holding a McDonald's coffee. I'm holding a Starbucks.
Okay, let's just talk quality of the coffee. Forget the other stuff. Quality, how
McDonald's,
good the coffee.
iced coffee,
Yes, correct.
Nespresso at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And you're close, so we can grab a coffee. afterward.
Mhm, yeah.
In your sweatpants at home, watching Netflix
Uh-huh.
with Skip the Dishes,
Oof,
Okay.
love.
or a fancy dinner and movie out.
No, inside no sweatpants, underwear. Skip the dishes for sure. Actually, my boyfriend and I for Valentine's, we ordered $100 of Wendy's off and skip the dishes.
But that was just
That's just our Valentine's.
Dave's double and
Yeah,
Baconator.
yeah. It was 2 burgers and
Yeah.
2 99-cent Frosties. Yeah, that was shady. I like it.
Okay, literally.
That's all
laughing.
fast food now.
Brought to you
Wow.
by not Wendy's.
And
Fastest drive-through in the city, though. I'll give them that.
They are pretty good. I do appreciate the one on Regent there.
Yeah, they know how to speed it up.
Yeah.
There's one more for you.
as a student, were you a back row or front row student?
All over. Depends on the teacher. If it was my English, actually, if it was a queen, I was sitting at the front and I loved them, like my English teachers. But math teachers, science teachers, I was in the back.
The back row.
Yeah.
Maths and sciences, yeah, me too. Friends or Seinfeld?
Both in the trash.
Both.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
You can
Both?
choose.
Yeah.
You can choose neither. It's okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's part of the rule.
Pivot. Oh,
So he doesn't like Adam
God.
Sandler,
Doesn't-
Friends, or Seinfeld.
Yeah. Okay.
This
All
ain't
right.
the show for you, boomers.
It's all
Or
right.
Tim Hortons.
Boomer or Buzz? Yeah, we had it on
Oh,
yesterday.
yeah.
Our last week. Chocolate or chips?
Chips.
Okay.
Chips
Flavor.
All, but most and definitely Old Dutch, because obviously, but rippled chips with sour cream and
Hell of a good dip.
yeah, I mean that works too. If you want to get the French onion stew mix, though,
Yeah.
get that
Oh, make
going.
your own.
Miss Vicky's that crunch. Not gonna beat it.
Not gonna beat
Spicy
it.
dill pickle, anyone?
Mm.
All dressed.
Ketchup?
I'm just gonna pause. Do you have any more to add?
Lay's sour cream and onion.
Sour cream and onion by Lay's are good.
Boxed barbecue Old Dutch. Better than the bagged.
Boxed barbecue Old Dutch in the old wax bags.
Hell yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking
Yep.
about.
Do you go to like grocery stores in the States and just like cry when they don't have Old Dutch?
They
Oh,
do have Old
just-
Dutch.
You know what,
It's
though?
not the same.
It's actually, fun fact, they also don't have it in other parts of Canada.
What?
Yeah, like Ontario does not have boxed Old Dutch.
Hmm.
And so when my family and I, we did a casting call for Family Feud Canada just
Yep.
this past year. Still waiting for that callback, but they
We'll
reached
send this
out.
to them.
Yeah, they reached out and they were like, "What would you bring us?" And my mom was like, "A box of barbecue Old Dutch chips." And they were like, "Boxed?" And then I was like, "Yeah, y'all have bagged milk. That ain't. You're talking about us having bagged chips."
We used to have bag milk.
I know, but they don't have it either. So fun
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah.
No, and the boxes, he's right. It's not the same.
And
Yeah.
you got to bring them honey dill too.
Oh, also Munchos. Have you guys heard of Munchos?
Munchos.
You can get them at
Munchos.
Dollarama. They're a chip.
Oh,
and they are
yes,
super
yes.
fluffy.
Sounds like we're
and
harkening
awesome.
back to the stoner part of Tyler Carr.
Yeah, I'm getting to that point. Are we done this soon?
We're
Just
getting
kidding.
there.
Wearing off a little bit. Would you
Yeah.
rather climb a mountain or
Uh-huh.
sit your butt on a beach?
Climb a mountain for that one. Yeah, it's more of a hiking vibe. Beach ain't my vibe. It includes water. I'm out.
Yeah, we're same
Sand.
we're samesies on that one.
Yeah.
iPhone or Android?
Android. If you
The
like
wrong
if you like
answer.
if you like good technology and you like better pictures and videos and you know how to work technology, you're getting an Android.
this
Yeah,
isn't
but,
an-
yeah, but in fairness, if you want overpriced phones, you want an iPhone.
Absolutely. If you want
This
like
isn't an air source on remote.
no.
okay?
This is just the fact. I mean,
It is. I mean, you're
it's
speaking.
funny when people get me to take their pictures because my phone has better quality. But
Yeah, he's right.
I will give you iPhone users something. You sure know how to waste your money.
Okay.
No, and that's fine. If people have money, I agree with you. Yeah,
Honestly,
he's right,
though,
he's right.
do whatever makes you happy. It's just
Yeah.
not the right choice.
And Mario or Luigi?
Mario.
And then the last one.
Luigi's too
Is
skinny.
that this one?
That's the last one. Yeah.
Okay. That's a long
This is a hard
paragraph.
one.
Can you read that
I'll
paragraph,
read it out
please?
to you because this one's the hardest question. And choose between never playing a Nintendo game again or never listening to Lady Gaga again. Which would you sacrifice? And how,
Just kidding.
and how long would it take you to recover?
Never listening to Lady Gaga again, or never. Okay, wait. There's things. Can I still watch Lady Gaga movies?
Sure.
And she's singing in them.
Oh yeah, you quantify.
Well, we're gonna have a loophole here.
No, I'm making
He
sure
can
I
add
understand the
loopholes.
guidelines. I have a question for each. That's my Lady Gaga question.
Okay.
Can I watch her movies with music?
Sure.
Okay. Can I still play other video games other than Nintendo?
Yeah, like you just can't
Yeah.
play Nintendo.
Yeah, that sucks.
Nintendo games.
All
like
of
so
this is
Mario,
horrendous. Why
Zelda,
would you do this to me?
all that.
Ugh.
You call Mitch back?
Do you need to phone a friend again? Mitch, which one did I pick?
Actually, I will call somebody. Do we have time for that? Is
Yeah,
that fine?
as long as you have time.
Yeah. Let's see if my friend Trevor picks up. He's my best friend.
We're gaining new viewers every
Yeah.
time he calls somebody.
He might not pick up though. He hates me.
Oh. Your friend Trevor hates you.
Yeah, he does.
His best friend, you said.
Yeah, best friend.
And he hates
We bike every day the Transcona Trail. Yep, every day.
Great trail too, by the way.
Yeah, and, it's amazing. It's underrated.
I agree.
It's actually underrated.
No.
It's criminally
I
underrated.
ran it a couple times.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not picking up. Yeah, that's fair. If he's not going to pick up, Trevor, oh my God, you're such a loser. Yeah, whatever. He's, whatever.
We can't even leave him a message.
We're going to go with, for the sake of, not
Pick the right choice, Tyler.
playing Nintendo.
There you go.
Because I can still build the Lego and I can still listen to Lady Gaga.
It's a wise decision. And I asked 2 questions at the end of this game.
Okay.
One is one person, dead or alive, that you could have a 20-minute conversation with today.
Oh, that's such a good question. Oh, Matt, my best friend. I'd bring him and just be like, hey. I'd pick my best friend.
Okay.
That's fantastic.
And then my last question, your top 3 places in Manitoba to go. It can be a food, it can be hiking, it could be adventure.
Okay.
Top 3 places to go with your buddies.
I'm not going to overthink this. I'm not going to overthink this. And these are only coming to my head right now because they're recently places that I've either visited that I've really liked. They are my top. People always ask me this, and my top always changes. I would say Chez Angela Cafe in Brandon, Manitoba. If you want to actually, I mean, I don't want to, flood their voicemail, but if you call their voicemail, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They have amazing food. It's all homemade in Brandon, Manitoba, and it's legitimately worth the drive from Winnipeg. Number 2, I would go to Enjoy Cafe, which is out in Selkirk. It's a little cafe. They do great coffees, and they also do a spectacular breakfast. And then number 3, I would go to... I have a few. I'm going to say Dal's in Transcona.
You had to throw the Transcona in there, right?
It was like, oh, I can't not.
So do you think of yourself now as a Transconian?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
Do you have a pink flamingo?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, my God. My watering can is a flamingo.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I've adopted the lifestyle. And fun fact, when I first moved to Winnipeg, although it was downtown, I immediately moved to Transcona. Then I moved out, and I hated not being in Transcona. So I moved back, and I have no plans of leaving.
Yeah.
So your 3 choices have not been replicated by anybody else, all 3 of them. So
yeah,
good answers.
Honestly, it's the hole in the walls. Look for those, support local businesses, small businesses. Look for the small shops that people aren't talking about. Those are the most important.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great. Awesome. I've got my last question for you.
I'm ready.
What advice would you give to anybody growing up these days, in Winnipeg, that don't know what they want to do? They're just kind of just living their lives. What would you give them for a piece of advice?
I would say, little cliche in here, but I'll bring in Tyler Carr back in a second. But do something that's going to make you happy in life that nobody else is expecting.
Cool.
I would just say that. And play a ton of Nintendo and also just live your best authentic life. I mean, I think these days kids are so manipulated by everything that they see. And I'm not just saying social media, because social media can be a great tool. They can be manipulated by their parents to do something, or their friends, or bullies, or anything. Legitimately sit down with yourself, find out what you're passionate about. For me, it was music and talking. And roll with that. Roll with something that when you wake up every day, you're going to be like, that's pretty cool that I get to do that.
Yeah, you get to talk and play music.
So I'm just going to
go
follow
ahead.
it up with one question. You talked about music. You love Lady Gaga, and you did some musical theater when you were younger. If we could go to Broadway today, what show are we going to? It doesn't, even if it's stopped now, even if it's a show that's ended already, it can be any show. They're all available for the last 40 years. You're taking me to a show. You're taking me to a show. What show?
I would take you to The Greatest Showman. Okay. I would take you there because I've always wanted to see. I've always wanted to. But then I'd also retract that statement because Lady Gaga's rumored to be making a Broadway show right now. And so I'd take you to go see her.
Doesn't exist yet, so we can't.
Fun fact, I had not seen The Latest Showman. Or The Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
The Greatest Showman.
Greatest Showman.
I watched half of it 5 days ago. Yeah. And I still haven't finished it.
Have you...
I think it's a little different when it's Broadway.
Have you seen the actual, like the picture of P.T. Barnum?
Yeah.
And then you see it with Hugh Jackman beside it?
Oh,
yeah. Doesn't look anything like P.T. P.T. Barnum was one of the ugliest people. Yeah. Sorry, I apologize if any of his family members are here listening to the show.
Sorry, P.T. Barnum's family members.
Downright hideous bitch. Sorry.
I wouldn't say that, but Google him right now. We'll look at picture and then put Hugh Jackman beside. Doesn't look anything.
No.
Anyway.
But who would you get to play yourself in a movie?
Me?
Yeah.
George Clooney.
Oh. Dave Wheeler for me.
No, who would you get to play you? Like, honestly, if you were to pick somebody to play you in a movie, who would you want?
Pick me. Honestly, I'd probably say. I would probably say RuPaul. I went for the silence.
Is it cricket sounds going off?
I
could put crickets in.
I live for it. No,
RuPaul.
honestly, I would probably say Tom Holland because then it would mean I'm hot.
And, you know, like, he's younger, too. I think he's
Yeah.
probably only like
He's
30.
blonde.
Yeah.
He's cute.
He could pull you off.
Yeah, he
My
could pull me
daughter
off.
agrees with you on that one.
See, that's where it's time to. Yeah,
Matthew.
that guy's going like, stop this.
No, he was like,
Yeah. This is the stuff for Instagram.
Why is he Googling it?
Yeah, he's
why is there pictures flooding the screen?
Tom Holland shirtless. Stop.
anyway, Tyler, we didn't even get to 20 of our questions that we wanted to
That
ask
means
you,
it was
but
a good show.
We appreciated all this time that you've taken with us because
Yes, for
we know
sure.
that your time is precious. And
Well, the invoice is sitting over there, so it's fine.
yeah, and
you're gonna put
Tim
that
has
in
a
the
credit
trash.
card, so he'll just
It's wiped.
send you.
It's maxed, so it's okay.
I bought Lego.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming.
guys.
It was truly a blast.
No,
to have
and
you.
before when I said that about your podcast, I mean it. You guys are grinding. You're doing a lot of hard work. It's a lot of positive stuff for the community, and I see it, and I do follow it, and I do watch your videos. But I do mean that. You guys are crushing it, and I appreciate you having me on.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hey, and don't forget, you have to like, subscribe, share, comment, hit all the buttons that Tim likes to point at. Where are you pointing at today, Tim? No, wrong. Still wrong. They're still underneath. They're right below us here.
On my
Press
feet.
the share button. Press the not your feet. And I got to blur those out. So thanks for watching. And we'll see you again next Monday. Next Monday?
Bye, bitch.
Bye.
There you go.
Oh, he Googled Greg Stewart plus.
Thanks for watching the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Sharing is caring.